Life is short. You can't live with regret in this world. You cannot. You live with regret, that opportunity may never come back again. The people who go ahead in life are the ones who move with speed. They're the ones who move with a fearless head on their shoulders. It's the ones who adapt in real time. They're the ones who are not afraid to feel shame, embarrassed, cringed for trying. And it takes a lot of work, and it takes you being open to challenging yourself often, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations where you tell yourself and you learn that I am capable, I am enough. I don't need external validation. When I was in secondary school, I must have been in year 8. And throughout that year, I was bullied. So never hold yourself back from something that can be so great. And it's the journey itself that helps you to develop. You don't feel ready. What are you waiting for? Honestly, I think this is the biggest limitation we can have. The biggest limitation we can set in our minds. Closing ourselves off, making us feel as though we are not ready. The time is now. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I had a conversation with a close friend of mine, right? And I'm not going to give away his name, any details, but he told me he wasn't ready. He wanted to get ready, which is a sign of I know where I'm at and I know where I want to get to. But until I get to that particular point, I'm not going to make a move. I'm not going to take action. So I wanted to really hone in and speak to him specifically and say, become that person now. Whether you can see it on the physical plane, it's definitely here. Because how we operate in our mind shows up externally throughout the world. You are ready. You are ready, but you're comparing yourself to other people, what you may see on social media, what you may see in the flesh. This guy looks dressed up, smells good, he's got his hairline sorted, right? He looks like he's got money, yeah, and he looks so confident, so comfortable speaking to other women. How do I get to that level? Because if he's of that level and he's bringing in that caliber of woman, and then I look at myself and then I compare, which is comparison is the thief of joy, I'm now going to feel as though I'm not worthy. I can't get that standard. Yes, there's certain lines to it. There's certain levels to it. But who's for you will be for you. So I want to give some context. We met up and we went to a comedy show. Again, I don't want to give up too much information because that show wasn't great. When I spoke to him on the phone, I was like, okay, I'm going to come at this time to come pick you up so we can go. And he's like, all right, cool. Because basically he had tickets for him and his girl. His girl couldn't make it, so he came with me. He was like, do you want to go to this? I was like, fine. He's like, all right, I'm going to dress up nice. And in my head, I was like, you know what? I know it's going to be a female-dominated show. I'm single. I'm going to dress up nice, So I picked up a two-piece from Lululemon a few weeks ago. Had my Gucci trainers, had my nice little watch, my little chain, my Zara oud. The amount of compliments I get from this aftershave alone is ridiculous. To help me sustain a high level of confidence, because you have to build on it, and it takes a lot of work, and it takes you being open to challenging yourself often, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations where you tell yourself and you learn that I am capable, I am enough. I don't need external validation. But to help boost and take me to that other level where I can feel more sure about myself, I'm going to control the controllables around that. I'm going to dress in a particular way that makes me feel comfortable, makes me feel powerful. I'm going to put on my best cologne because I like the smell of fragrance and I like to smell good. It adds to the aura, the masculinity. I like to go to the barbers to stay sharp, not only for personal reasons, but for business too, because I never know who I'm going to bump into. And it's a matter of appearances, especially when you work in a higher echelon of, let's say, company, clients, people, environments. Because we get stereotyped, we get judged. People do judge us. I picked him up, drove to the place, And we was just catching jokes. Cool. Stepped out, parked out, stepped out. And he looked and he was like, yo, my girl sometimes tells me how to dress up and this and that. And I'm like, that's good. That's not a bad sign, because women generally do have a good sense of taste. So if she wants to dress you up a certain way, I don't think that's a bad thing. If anything, it helps you to explore different options out here, because me personally, I know I can fall victim to dark tones, black, navy blues. Blue is my favorite color. Gray, look, this doesn't pop. Whereas beige and bit of brown, I think, I'm not too sure. Someone gave me a color profile before. Whites really go well with my complexion, my skin tone. So I'm looking to get more of that to complement me and my style, right? So I was in all black, had a white tee on, had my Gucci trainers on, had my little pinky ring on, had my watch on, no glasses, just looked sharp. And I sprayed on my Eau de Parfum, the Ouds from the Zara home collection. He looked at me and he was like, whoa, I need that kind of style, man. You look good, man. You look sharp. His style is more about I'm growing into it, which I've been there. We've all been there. I'm growing into it. He's like, yeah, I need to get there. I said, listen, you can do that. You just got to find the right pieces. So I was telling him different places he can go to, what things he can try on, because you have to go out and try. And don't be afraid to look at lookbooks or inspirations from other guys who were into fashion and stuff like that. And you just play with it. So I told him Lululemon. He's like, Lululemon, yeah. I was like, listen, yeah, when I spend my money, I like to make sure it goes a long way. If not, I'm spending it on pieces that I know will be long lasting and suits me well. So we went throughout, and me, I'm not afraid to speak to anyone in the street. I can speak to women, I can speak to guys, whatever. Yeah, so my confidence is there. And I know he's always had a confidence issue. And he was telling me, oh, I can finally fit into my t-shirt, the buttoned up. Last time I went to your birthday, the buttons couldn't button up, so I had it open. And I looked and I was like, okay, you are looking trim. You can see it in the face, you can see it on the body. And the last time I was with him, he was of a bigger stature, so he's been going to the gym regularly. So it's good to see. And I'm like, okay, you keep going, don't stop. And no matter what, don't let anyone take you off your path, because you can start being committed to women, for example, start dating them, being in a relationship, and you can get lazy. So I said, don't let your girl make you lazy, because you'll start to go within a little bit more. And I want you to come out your shell, because you are a good person. And I like everyone to feel confident in themselves. Like, find yourself. What is going to make you unique? What's going to make you you? Okay? So he was looking like, yeah, looking good. So we're sitting there in the show, and I just see pure girl everywhere, man. That's there's girl everywhere, all different kinds, man. Whatever flavor you want, gelato. It was a lot going on, or cosmopolitan. What do you call them? One with the different flavors. It's funny because where we were sitting was like near the back, but not too far. And he was on the edge, I was in the middle. No one was sitting there, and then these girls came through. There was one sitting next to me, and he was like, maybe half an hour into it, he's like, yo, that girl's all right, man. And I was like, yeah, she's all right. And he's like, yeah, she's nice, man. I was like, yeah, the one in the middle's nicer. Do you know what I'm saying? That's my flavor. Do you know what I mean? And we were just bantering around that. But then I could tell he was a bit off. And I didn't want to apply pressure, because me being a coach for the last 10 years, specifically professionally, working with beginners in fitness to athletes, from young children from age 5 up to 16, VIPs, celebrities, working at Rebel Racing for about 6 years as a human performance coach. So we're more focused on an overall optimization piece of not just physical and recovery as such, but we want to ensure that your nutrition's on point, you're educated around that, what's going to help you to perform at a higher level, as well as mindfulness, the psychology of how you will operate under stress, under load, under duress. I understand body language and how the mind should operate in particular scenarios. And especially when I've always been into that, I've done a lot of research into it, and I've worked with clients for so long, and then I work on myself. How does this individual take me? based on the way they speak and the way their body is. What's the language they're portraying? What is the information I'm gathering from this? So I can tell he was closed up, and I'm trying to remember what was the specific thing. Yeah, he opened up and he's like, I don't feel confident in myself. And I said, you're doing the right thing. You're going to the gym. Yeah, you're doing that. That's the main thing. Go into the gym. You're being consistent. Your body's going to change naturally. So he kind of closed off a little bit. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to push this a little bit more. The last thing I want him to do is feel uncomfortable in this setting, especially when we're surrounded by women. And I'm not trying to encourage him to speak to girls, but if you're telling me you like this girl and you got a girl at home, I'm not encouraging you, but there's no harm in just having a conversation. Yeah. So I didn't want him to feel uncomfortable. I didn't want to do that. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to apply any pressure. I'm not going to do anything. I got invited by you, so I'm here for you. Yeah, let's enjoy whatever. And I was like, we're going out later tonight. He's like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not, because he doesn't really drink. He's like, oh, I don't want to do that. I've got to get up at 5 in the morning and go gym. I said, what are you working tomorrow? He's like, no. But he wants to keep up consistency. I was like, good lad. You've set boundaries. Good. You put me back in my place. I digress. As soon as the show finished, we left. And got in the car, went back, and then I just laid it on him thick. Yeah, I said, life is short. You can't live with regret in this world. You cannot. You live with regret, that opportunity may never come back again. And this goes for anything in life. Yes, there is a risk to certain things, but you must take the risk because that's where growth comes. That's how you develop. That's how you learn. That's how you stand strong on your 2 feet tall. That's what makes you a man, because you've gone through the trials and tribulations. Now, for him to say, when I get to a certain point, I will feel ready to do what I need to do. I said, good on you, because I know what that feels like. I've been there. I don't feel ready. Until I do this, then I can do that. That's all in your head, mate. Because at the end of the day, you don't have to feel ready to do something. You are ready now. You don't have to feel ready to do something. You are ready now. So if you walk as if you are that individual, you are capable, then the job is done, mate. 75% of the battle is there, man. And then as you do it, you learn and adapt, because something that is unfamiliar is going to feel awkward. It's going to feel difficult. It's going to feel like it's out of your realm. Well, in reality, it is in your realm. Sorry, guys, I just want to stop you here. I don't say enough, but it means a lot if people can subscribe, like, comment, share this to a friend. Like, pick either one of these options. But subscribing is a big one for me. It means that I'm doing something right and you resonate. If not liking this or sharing this to an individual, a friend of yours, a family member that you feel needs to hear this message, it means the world. I'll be extremely grateful. Back to the video. The people who go ahead in life are the ones who move with speed. They're the ones who move with a fearless head on their shoulders. It's the ones who adapt in real time. They're the ones who are not afraid to feel shame, embarrassed, cringed for trying. It's the doers and the triers who get far, man. Yes, some people get lucky in life, but preparation meets opportunity. That's luck. So if you prepare yourself and say, you know what, I'm putting in the work now. I'm doing the work now. So when that time comes, I'm ready for it. It's the whole premise behind my mission, my ethos, the language I speak. Be unstoppable. Become unstoppable. Stay dangerous. So when you get to a certain caliber, like for example, he's training, he's being consistent with his training. He feels strong, his body's adapting, his mindset's developing. He's getting courageous. He's thinking outside the realms of possibility a little bit more based on his previous being or consciousness. Yeah, he's expanding his mind. That's what happens when you are consistent and you're pushing yourself. You're stress testing yourself. You're building resilience. You're opening your mental capacity. When you get to that particular point and you're like, whoa, this is different, this is new, you now maintain that. That's the stay dangerous element. Maintain and improve. Maintain and improve. Maintain and improve. So you never go back down to that lower level. You set the standard, the foundation, you build. You set a new foundation, a new standard, you build. Does that make sense? You are becoming someone anew. You learn from your old experiences and then you build and you grow from there. Maintain and improve. Maintain and improve. So I am becoming unstoppable. I am unstoppable. I will be unstoppable. And I will stay dangerous. Doesn't mean I'm going out here to harm anyone. Doesn't mean I'm going out here looking for a fight. But if something happens to me, I'm prepared. This was built over time. I didn't wake out of my mum's womb and thought, rah, I'm a G, right? Yeah, I want you to feel like that, but you've got to be tested. What are the limits? What can you comprehend? What are you going to do differently to ensure that you become better? I'm thinking back to a time where when I was in secondary school, I must have been in year 8. And throughout that year, I use the term bully because it's a blanket term. I was bullied, not in the sense of it was horrendous and I wanted to end my life and I was depressed, but I was in fear of this individual. And he was a couple years older than me. And the thing is, he was shorter than me, but he came in with a level of aggression. I was like, I don't know how to handle that. I don't want that. So he would bully me in the sense of whatever pocket money I've got, he wants it. He took my money, man. And that happened numerous times throughout the year. And that tested me so many different ways because I went into my shell. I didn't know how to handle myself. I didn't know how to handle him. And I've been in situations where I've been in fights. I had fights in school, in primary school. Yeah, I've had fights growing up. I've had tuffles. I've had disagreements, altercations. But this felt different. This felt like, all right, there's some alpha energy in this bitch, man. Do you know what I'm saying? But shame on him. You can't pick on someone your own size. You've now got to go to someone you know you're physically stronger than. Because he did lay his hand on me. Coward. And the reason why I want to speak about this is because I think every male should go through something similar. I feel sorry for someone who hasn't been bullied or affected in some way. Yes, the cons of it is you dwell on it and you really go deeper into yourself. But the pros of it is you understand that you've got to fight or flight here. No one's coming to save you, my bro, but yourself. So how can I build enough self-belief and confidence to say, you know what, as much as I'm being knocked down, I can get back up and try even harder and show this mother that I don't play either. Yeah. So this went on for maybe a year and a half. And then I stood up to it. I said, you know what? No. I was trembling, shook. I could feel my nervous system alight. I could feel how my body's reacted to this whole situation. Yeah. Trembling. But I stood my ground. And from then on, there was respect. I didn't have to be physical, but I did say, no, I'm not giving you my change, bro. And I was ready to go down for a fight, to be fair. I got to the point where I was tired of this shit. Why am I being scared of this other person? I told myself, I am no longer scared of no one, nothing in this world. The only people I'm scared of are my parents. They brought me into this world, they can take me out, literally. So now I walk with fearlessness. Nothing scares me. Yes, there's moments where I'm like, ooh, got a bit, you know? But I'm not scared to be like, you know what? I'm going to step with my best foot forward. And these scenarios can be with if I'm courting a girl, if I'm going to go cold approach a girl in a certain scenario, if I'm going into a business meeting, if I'm just entering a room where I've never been in, if I'm just going solo, I'm going hiking, I'm going to an event, I'm traveling solo. I'm walking in knowing that no matter what, I'm cool. If I give out good energy, then I will receive better energy, if not the same. I'm going out here minding my own business and living life. And I'm having the self-belief, the trusting element in myself to say, even if I do get rejected, there's going to be plenty more. Because life is abundant. My mind is abundant. I live limitlessly on this plane. So as soon as you tell yourself, I have to be ready. I'm not ready. I need to do that first. Or I need to do this first to be able to do that next. The more I tell myself, the more I'm actually believing it. Whereas I want to be so delusional, not enough that I'm going to jump off a cliff and I will survive, but delusional enough to say, yeah, I can do that. But if I know I can't do that, I'm at least going to try and see how far I can get. Can I touch the moon? If not, along the process of me trying to build a contraption to get to the moon, I've now learnt certain things that I wouldn't have learnt before if I didn't try. That's the key thing here. By doing the actual thing along the journey of exploration and trying to reach the objective, the goal, the dream, the vision, I'm learning things along the way that now become lifelong skills, which now expands my mental concept and capacity and wisdom to be like, oh, that didn't work, but that worked over there. So I can adapt and change, twist it up a little bit and do that. Does that make sense? So don't think about, oh, the big result of that's the end goal. Think about, how will I learn along this journey? So for example, going back to my friend, he was thinking, I don't feel like I'm good for these girls and this and that, and I'm going to be rejected. You don't know shit, bro. All you have to do is say hello. Hi. It's going to feel fucking awkward, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. And then whilst you're conversating, you're now picking up on body language, communication skills, how you think, how you're being received based off how you're communicating. What is my tone, the cadence, the words I can use to communicate to get a certain response? How can I build up on my charisma? That all comes through doing stuff in the field. So until you do that, you will never know, my bro. So never hold yourself back from something that can be so great. And it's the journey itself that helps you to develop and become the person you envision. So become unstoppable, stay dangerous. You understand? I hope this makes sense and I hope this resonates in some way. Yeah, so this is the whole reasoning behind why I do the confidence coaching and I help people expand their horizons, because we all self-sabotage. We all go into ourselves and we say we cannot do it, when in reality we can, or at least have to try and find out, gather the data and move forward based off analysis so we can adapt and move forward knowing that I'm capable. So that's what I've built these guides. Yeah, so you've got a confidence guidebook which allows you to reset and rebuild yourself in 7 days. Yeah, where am I at now? What can I do now to add self-awareness? What's the uncomfortable actions I can do to ensure that I'm growing beyond the limitless plane or the limitations I've set? And if you want to go deeper, I've also built and created the self-mastery 30-day framework. It's the unstoppable system, and it's got everything in there from longevity pieces to 30-day audits to your operating blueprint, so you can understand what you need to do on a day-to-day basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis to ensure that you stay on track to head towards the goals you need to attain. The reflection prompts, which allow you to reflect on what you've gone throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, and then on a quarterly basis, every 3 months, your performance review. The uncomfortable action list, so it gives you different levels based off what's more difficult than the other for you to do on a daily basis to help you grow and develop and move forward. And you got the self-mastery framework itself, which looks at your current self, your health state, your mental state. So we're looking at sleep and recovery, nutrition, mindfulness, and activity levels. Then you're looking at your belief systems, self-talk, self-image, and then the operating side of things when it comes to the goals. What are the protocols, the systems you're putting in play to ensure that you stay on track to get to where you need to get to? So it's a whole bundle. It's a whole bundle. So feel free to click the link in the description in my bio. You can check it out. If you want to go deeper, if you just want some clarity, if you want some understanding, why do you self-destruct? Why do you add the limitations? Why can't you get over that hurdle? Then you can book a call in with me and we can go in deeper. Also, please don't be afraid to comment. Let me know what things you might be struggling with or you struggled with in the past and you've been able to overcome. I'd like to learn and understand what you're going through and how best I can potentially help you. If not anyone else in the comments, we are all as one. We are a community. I'm not building something here to feel as though you can feel ashamed. I want you to feel as though you are welcomed. We've all been through something and we all can learn from each other. So if there's anything you feel like you've been struggling with, anything that you feel is hindering you, stopping you from becoming who you want to become, put it in the comments or drop me a message, right? And let's see if we can help you get over this hurdle.